Greetings, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Welcome to the Chatter After Daily. Today we are talking The Flash. This is a very special episode. Brandon's over here running this way, I guess, and chalking in place. Last week we talked The Flash, Batman, Wonder Woman. We did a whole big fan cast episode. It's been releasing in chunks across the channel the last few days. But for the Flash segment, you guys really wanted to hear Brandon's thoughts because of course you did. Big mistake on my part for making sure he wasn't there for the Flash in the first place. My bad. But welcome, Brandon. How you been, man? It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm always up for talking the Scarlet Speedster, my favorite superhero. Always.
Yeah, this should be a fun one. Coming from the Speed Force is Juwaan with the Norman Osborn profile pic. I don't know. How you doing, bro?
Greatest waves in the game. I'm good. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I don't know how that's relevant to this episode, but you're not wrong.
Any chance I get to promote Norman?
If it worked with Gwen, okay, I'll leave it there.
Oh, jeez. Joel, what's up, bro?
I did not make that Marvel canon. It was not my choice.
I respect that. I'm good. I'm glad to be here. Let's talk some Flash. I'm excited.
Let's do this. Trayvon, we had some folks not happy with the results last time. How are you doing? How are you approaching this round, right? We're doing Flash again. What are you looking for? Or what do you want to hear when it comes to what these two have to say about the Flash in the DCU?
Some sense. Let's get some sense. Yeah, let's get some sense.
Sense.
You know?
Yeah, sense. That's debatable.
Let's make it fit. Yes, yeah. No. It's all on how I feel about it.
Yeah. See, that's not sense.
Well,
bias.
Well, pick the right people.
Oh, trust me, there's plenty of bias.
Though. Like a lot of things in these DC movies don't make sense.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about that.
My pick made a lot of sense. I'll give a shit.
Still mad. Oh.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Still salty. Adam, what's up, bro? Welcome to the show. This is going to be a good one. Let's run. Run, Barry. Run. Jamie, any different? Like, after the first episode, are you approaching this any differently? Or are you just going to run it back, literally?
I think I'm just running it back. I can't approach it any differently. I'm just going with the choices from my heart, and I think that's what the Flash would do. So that's the real way to choose.
That's fair.
Brandon,
the pressure's all on you, man.
I guess. Apparently, and I think I did it to myself. I got a background. I got a shirt. I didn't help my case.
That is true.
If I say things that people don't like, exactly, it's just not gonna be okay.
Well, at least you know.
Oh, but that's towards the end of the show. This episode's going to be slightly different because instead of just a normal fan cast, we're going to be kind of analyzing where the Flash has been and where he needs to go in the future of the DCU. Because he was just the last movie we got from DC, hailed as the greatest since The Dark Knight, became one of the biggest bombs of the last decade at the box office. So there's a lot of rehabilitation we need to do, regardless of how you felt about the movie itself, to kind of fix the brand of the Flash and make it, again, a pillar of the DC universe. So I guess we're going to start with taking a look back at the DCU, the Flash, the history there. Brandon, I know you have a lot of thoughts on Ezra Miller's portrayal of Barry Allen. So when we're first introduced to that character, I guess in a cameo appearance of Batman vs. Superman and then in Justice League, what were your initial thoughts and how they kind of approached it?
So we're talking about just BVS or just in general? That
just in general,
before,
it's pretty much the same character through line.
Yeah. So I mean, so my biggest issue, which to me was mixed because I've always liked Ezra Miller as an actor. I've always enjoyed him as an actor. I've enjoyed them as an actor, and I was kind of excited when I heard that he was going to play Barry. But then when I saw Justice League, and even Zack Snyder's, the take on what they would call Barry, I'm using that adjective or that pronoun very particularly. The character, the director, the actor, how they chose to portray what they would call would be Barry Allen was not Barry Allen at all. And my biggest concern with that portrayal, that presentation, is the fact that they used him as a comedic scapegoat. They didn't use him as a pillar or an important member of Justice League beyond the fact that he was there for people to have moments of relief. He had a lot more serious stuff to do in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and he did have a lot more stuff to chew on in his own main film, The Flash. But sadly, you really don't get who Barry is as a person, what he comes from, what drives him, what really defines him as a person and then as a hero. Because one of the biggest things about Barry Allen that I love and admire is that he's not comedic relief. He is a harbinger of hope. He is so much of a harbinger of hope that during the Blackest Night DC event, he was the only Justice Leaguer to be given a Blue Lantern ring. He became a Deputy Blue Lantern Corps member, which is a Lantern Corps that is fueled by hope. Just like the Green Lantern Corps was fueled by willpower, Blue Lanterns are fueled by hope. So it's all about how much hope he instills into others. And the idea of what makes the Flash so interesting, or Barry Allen himself, is that he was a hero before he got chosen by the Lightning Bolt. He was a CSI that wanted to bring hope and closure to people that suffered because of crimes in Central City, in a way that he couldn't get closure with what happened with his mom and dad. So he wasn't brought down like Bruce Wayne was, and to becoming that devil that was the Batman that became this dark hero, right? He did it in his own way, but he found a way to find hope, to be able to bring hope to others, even though he lacked it when he needed it the most. So those are the things that, to me, define the Flash. He was a hero before he became the Flash, and when he became the Flash, everything that he would do normally just went on to be that in a cosmic level. And I think that the DCU missed all that, missed all those things that made him. And you can go on and say that the Justice League didn't have time to do that or present that. Yes, because the problem is that you cannot deny that the presentation of the character from the beginning in Justice League, he was chosen and created as a comedic actor or character from the get-go. Like, the first thing you see him do is draw stuff on a guy's face in line to go seeing his dad at the jail cell over there. You know what I mean? Like in prison. That was like the first thing you see him do.
Well,
and
technically,
really
the first thing you see him do is kind of save the store. You know.
Yeah. Well, yes. Well, is that really?
What long hair?
Yes.
Yeah. But you got to figure when you think about it, the really defining thing that informs who he is as a person in the movie is that, and then that carries over everything else that he does. He does it with that wimpy, that kind of aimless demeanor, and that's the other thing. Barry is anything but aimless. He is someone that is driven, that is always running towards something at all times. There is nothing of that deterministic energy in that performance, in that presentation of the character. And that's like some of the things that define him as a person and as a hero. And none of that is there. And not only that, like the whole thing of it's so when you think about the Flash, you go to the books. Like I read the comic books and stuff like that. So another thing is they really downplayed a lot of the scientific and brilliance and engineering part of him. Like there was very little things. Like that's one of the few things that the Flash movie got okay, where they allowed that side of Barry Allen to shine, right? Where his scientific mind, his innovative mind, his curious mind is seen, especially when he starts explaining in fast speech how his suit works, right? And why the boots are the boots, how does it get compressed, and how, like those little things you see him do things that lead you to believe that he's smart. But because there's no time in the film to show, you don't see more of that. Like it's just there because it needs to be there, not because it's a defining quality of the character, right? But then when you hear on interviews and see things about how he developed the running technique for Barry, it's like he's looking at animals and gazelles and like birds and weird things in the animal kingdom. When if you think about it, if you have a scientific mind and understanding of how things work or should work, the first thing you're going to do, if you know that your powers are based on running, you're going to look at athletes. You're going to look at Olympic runners, people that actually do this, that have made that their life. And from there, you're going to get those skills. You know what I mean? Like it's like logic. And one of the things that I love about it is like one of the reasons I love the New 52, which is how I was introduced to the Flash, to the modern Flash, which is Barry, and Joshua Williamson's run, specifically year one, the entire first issue of the year one series, it's all about him learning how to cope with his abilities of running, all the shoes that he's burning off because of what he's learning, what he's applying, and how he arrives to the boots, how he arrives to stopping, like all those things from the scientific perspective. So it's like those are all the little things that bothered me that I would have liked to seen, which when you think about it, they're not big things. They just chose to focus on things that really don't define the character or do justice to the character. That's why I don't think there's just nitpicks. Like I'm a big essence guy. You can change the race, you can change the city, you can change the continent, but the essence of what makes that character great can still be the same. You know what I mean? That's why, for example, that's why I have no problem with seeing a Val Zod Superman movie, because I'm still going to see Superman, because the essence of who Superman is, what he stands for, is still there, whether it's Kal-El or Val Zod. You know what I mean? So the same thing goes with Barry. Like those things, I never saw any of that, or at least in any way that mattered. Like they focus on like the Speed Force stuff. The suit was amazing. Like a lot of those things were great. But apart from that, I think they dropped the ball. And also, for some reason, everybody talks about the Flash nowadays, and all they talk about is time travel, and all they talk about is the multiverse. And yes, that is a big part of what his abilities are capable of. But there's a lot more to the Flash than just that. I mean, this is do you know that this is the only hero that is celebrated in his city to the point that they build a museum for him? Like this is a hero that really is beloved by his city. It's like, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of, and that's where the rogues come in and all those other stories that you can tell. There's only specific characters that require time travel as a device. Not all of them. So it's not something that defines the Flash, which again makes you think they chose this as a gimmick because they wanted to tell this storyline. But yeah, those are the things that I think went wrong. Those are the things that shouldn't be repeated. And I'm done with
that. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. One thing that I can agree with, though, is like the whole time travel aspect. It's kind of why, like, we were talking in our stream last week. I don't like the idea of having more than one Flash, because if you have more than one person who can at will change the timeline or screw up the multiverse, that's kind of a problem storytelling wise, you know? So I honestly am not a big fan of the Speed Force in general, because I feel like it's kind of, when we would do our My Hero Academia reviews, right? I would always say I hate All For One's power because he can just pull anything out his ass. The same thing kind of happens with the Speed Force, where it's like at any second, Barry can just do anything.
Yes.
You know, like his
Yes.
entire power set, I really appreciate. But the time travel thing, I think we need to dial that back significantly for the movies, at least. But I'm gonna go to you, Trayvon, because you have a very different experience with this character than Brandon does. So, what's your perspective on the Flash in the DCEU thus far?
I felt like okay. I'm used to the CW. I watched all of it, seen all the seasons. I enjoyed that character a lot. He does have more of a focus and more of a. I felt like they both still have the heart. I just feel like the one on the CW was a little more braver than the one in Justice League.
No. CW is a very, very good, if not excellent, portrayal of the character.
Yeah. So
despite certain things, but it's yes.
Yeah.
I have to agree with you on that.
Yeah, so I did enjoy that a lot. Yeah. I don't know. I still think he had the heart. He just didn't have the. He was just very scared to use his powers in Justice League.
Didn't have the
he
ball.
was very. The run was weird. It really was, but it was very different. He was quirky. He was. I liked that he was different. I didn't want it to be exactly like the one that was on the CW. That's why I was okay. At least it is different. It's not the same thing. Like I enjoyed that about it. His powers were different. His powers seemed more
raw.
I don't know, like godlike. I don't know. They felt stronger in Justice League to me than they did on the CW. To me, like the way they are portrayed, the lightning, the way they just did it. It was different. It was
the
like,
scale is different.
Yeah, and then, you could tell.
And that influenced that.
You could feel it.
So
Zack Snyder really went for the god-like aspect for all of those characters.
Because I feel like he could really, I felt like Ezra's could really cause damage. Like if he just like he did a little too much, he could really cause some problems. The one on CW felt a little more tame. So I do like. I mean, if anybody knows me, I love power.
They couldn't afford it.
I love all that. So, I know. I am. I love that. So. And I mean, I like his awkwardness. I kind of, I was like, I understand. Like, this is my heroes. I'm so happy to be here. It was a different take. He got to meet his heroes. He got to be around them. I get the awkwardness. I get the quirkiness. Barry didn't have it. Barry's like, I'm on CW. He was like, I'm here. I'm the only hero until he meets everybody else. He still wasn't. He still was very. I felt like very confident on the CW. Rather than the one that was in Justice League. So I enjoyed the two different portrayals. I don't know. Like with the Flash movie, the only thing I really had a problem with, he still had the weird run, but the suit looked amazing. They just stayed in that Speed Force bubble thing too long. That was like the real problem for me in the Flash movie. I like the two different portrayals he did of his, the Flash and Dark Flash, whatever you want to call them. I did like the way they portrayed them differently. One of them was quirky. One of them was like a little more confident. I did enjoy that.
Mature.
Mature. Yeah, I enjoyed how they did it. I mean, like I said, it was just I swear it was just that speed bubble thing. I was like, y'all doing this? Y'all going back to this little too many times. It's starting to get annoying now. And for me, I mean, I know people love Keaton or whatever.
For sure.
I just didn't feel. I was like, okay, Keaton's in it. What is he doing? I just didn't feel nothing for that. So I don't know. I love the Supergirl. I feel like maybe the most out of the whole movie. I thought she was amazing, but we won't see any more of her probably. But But yeah,
that's so sad.
Yeah, it is because she was great. I mean, that's just they're different. I enjoyed that they were different. So now I'm curious to see who you guys pick for going forward, and I'm going to compare them. So. I'm gonna compare how they
Joel, did you do a redraft, or you still sticking with their initial picks?
Us.
I haven't even seen the picks, so I'm about to be surprised. I haven't even looked.
Mine's the same at the moment. I didn't think about changing it.
We're not. We don't have time for that. We're already 20 minutes into this video. We're not redrafting ours too.
I was gonna say
no, but
Mike told me to cook, so I cooked. That's.
Yeah, that's it for me right now.
I was just thinking, like, I have seen the Flash movie since the last stream where we were talking about the Flash. So I don't know if that hurts or helps anybody that's presenting their draft today. I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. I thought I guess just to give quick thoughts, the film was actually better than I thought it was going to be. I definitely see what people were talking about with like the bubble and like the CG not looking great and the bubble. But outside of that, I don't know if it's because everybody was crapping on it that like my expectations must have dropped to the floor that I watched it and I was like, this isn't as bad as everybody says. Or maybe I just came correct with this one, but I think it's a fine movie. It's not great, it's not bad, it's just fine.
Yeah.
It's mid. That's what we told you when we first watched it.
Yeah.
I take that.
But I would watch it again. That's like
I hate
would
it.
watch it again.
You hate it.
I
mean, I can see why.
But I have a very specific reason why, and it's not the bubble. but I'm gonna get into my reason later. But I don't want to get in the middle of everybody else's thoughts.
But did you want me to talk about, I guess, my perspective on the Flash, Mike? Or?
Yeah. Please.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
I think I said this.
I'm kidding.
All right. All right. All right, go ahead, move on. But yeah, I think I said this last stream, but I don't have a whole lot of history with the Flash. Outside of like I guess the Justice League cartoon, and even then I was like pretty young and I was just like Batman and everybody else fun. So, I did not watch
It's also Wally West.
Yeah, it wasn't
also
bad.
true. Oh, that and Young Justice. If he was he
Was
might
he
not
was
have
good.
been Young Justice actually.
Also
I don't
Wally
know.
West.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
Barry's
But-
in it.
yeah, I think he is at some
He is,
point.
yeah.
But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I mean, I'm trying to do that. I'm trying. But outside of that, I do think that he's like a pretty interesting character, and like I've always had fun whenever I've seen him on the screen. And based off like the kind of short synopsis that, well, I can't tell it's short, but the synopsis that Brandon gave about the character, I do think there's like a lot of like admirable things to appreciate about the Flash, and I can definitely see it being like a like the comment that you made, Brandon, was interesting, comparing like Barry to Bruce and kind of like their reaction to their parents dying / like kind of being removed from their lives. I think that's kind of an interesting parallel. But yeah, outside of that, I like Flash. He's a core Justice League member to me. I feel conflicted a little bit because, as we've seen with this film and just the Flash in general, like he has these powers where he can like go back in time and like affect the multiverse, I guess. So sometimes that can be kind of tricky when looking at certain stories because like, well, if this bad thing happened, why doesn't he just go back and do this? But I think one thing the movie did do that was good was kind of similar to Spider-Verse, kind of establishing like these canon events. So that way it's like, whatever you try to do, like this thing is going to happen in every universe that you create pretty much, or every universe that branches off. So I think they did do something interesting with that. So it's not like he can just like bend the universe to his will. Because if he could, then he pretty much would just be a god at that point.
Sorry, you don't give me those powers.
I mean, he kind of did bend reality to his will with Zack Snyder's Justice League at the end there.
They did.
He did at the end of this one, technically.
Yeah.
He still made a change.
Yeah,
Still
he did.
And I would have did it too. So,
I think it's a little bit more acceptable though. It's not just like, the universe that he originally wanted to create where his mother was alive, things drastically changed. So this like very seemingly minute change, I think was a little bit more acceptable to work with, even though it did end up changing things.
Is
it? In my opinion. In my opinion. But yeah,
he got away with it, but he didn't learn the lesson.
Look, realistic. Listen, I have these powers. Yes, I wouldn't change too much, but I'm changing this. I'm changing this.
That's fair.
I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold it.
But yeah, I think that's where I'm at with the Flash. I think he's cool. He's got some potential to be like a superhero that's like higher on my radar. Right now, I'm like, we're cool, but you know, I've got other people I'm more looking forward to seeing, I guess.
That's fair. Honestly, it's a fair assessment.
My bad. I was muted. I'm not used to not talking this long. But,
Me neither.
no, I mean, for me personally, I think the DCEU's issue with the Flash is the same issue Marvel had with Thor. You just have a character you don't know what to do with. You have a character that certain writers just think too much on, and then certain writers don't think enough on. And I think that's right where the Flash was. I mean, when you heard the multitude of different scripts that different directors wanted to do, because remember, we went through like, what, 5? So a bunch of different stories were going to be utilized that maybe could have made Ezra's Flash a lot better in different people's eyes. But, you know, a lot's were, you know, we got what we got. I do think the TV show showcase how the Speed Force can work in a movie and work well. Because I think one thing that the CW did was it showed the consequences of other people's lives due to Flashpoint. Like Diggle's son going to a daughter or vice versa, whichever way it was. It showed you that, hey, this doesn't just affect Barry, it affects everything. Right. And I think when you do it that way, the audience goes, OK, we see why he can't just, oops, I forgot my homework. Let me go back into, like, you know what I'm saying? It shows you even the smallest little phrase. There are huge consequences. So I think there's a way to do it, but I think you also don't need to rely on Speed Force and the idea of going back in time, except for event movies, which I think James Gunn should do event movies. When you do events, that's when you bring in things like that. That way your audience, who is the casual audience, understands, okay, this is not something he can just do whenever he wants. This was something that maybe was sparked by an experiment or some kind of misfortune or something like that happened. So there's always a way to go about that. I also think it didn't help that the vision for the DCEU was led by one man. Right, so it visually and tonally was all the same, right? No one really stood out from each other, right? Superman seemed as equally dark as Batman. Batman seemed as equally dark as Aquaman. So it expanding from that, I thought Andy did the best he could with brightening up Flash. The world was brighter. Felt a little bit more hopeful than it did in the past world he was in. My favorite Flash moment, probably, that I felt he was the most Flash, was probably the 5 seconds we got in Suicide Squad when he was taking down Captain Boomerang. That was probably the most excited I've ever been to see Flash.
That was cool. A,
because I didn't know that was going to be a cameo in that movie. And B, because it was just like, that's Flash, bro. Like, that's so Flash. So for me, I just think the idea for James Gunn needs to be simplicity, right? And Trayvon, I know me and Joel have talked to you about this a lot, but for casual fans, I think what you need to do for the Flash and these other heroes is showcase to the general audience why everyone feels different, right? So like there shouldn't be any points where people are like, well, I don't understand how like Flash works in like Batman's world. Well, don't think of it like that. Flash isn't coming into Batman's world, right? So it's the idea of everyone has their own tone and their own feel. And then it's the idea of you at some point bringing everything of everyone together rather than making things so uniform. And I think that was the biggest downfall of the DCU. Everything was too uniform, right? Even when Zack wasn't directing movies, it still felt like Zack was directing movies because it's like, it's uniform. Wonder Woman felt uniform. You know what I'm saying? Albeit I think it was a really great movie. visually, it looked exactly like BVS, and that maybe should not be the case going forward. So to me, I just think it's the simplicity, make everyone feel different, and I think Flash should be your most hopeful character. And once you're able to capture that, I think you'll be fine. That was
Fair.
That was all I had.
No, that's fair. That's an interesting perspective of tonally having one vision throughout. It's going to be interesting how that compares to what James Gunn is doing, because as far as we know, it is his vision too, right? And how does that differ from what Zack Snyder did, and the collaboration between Gunn and the directors that he's bringing on and the writers that he's brought on? How is that going to help like tonally differentiate some of these characters? Because you're right, the biggest draw of the Justice League is seeing those big different worlds and universes and personalities kind of come together. But if they do all feel the same, it's like, who cares? It's kind of what any other like normal team is. Like nobody's excited when Wolverine meets Cyclops because that makes sense, right? But like
Right.
Batman having to come face to face with Reverse Flash is a big deal and a really cool idea. And how do you kind of balance those tones and ideas, you know?
I mean, the first thing I was thinking was just the idea of like, when you think of like what the MCU did with Spider-Man, right? Like everything felt like just a stark replica, right? It wasn't until this last movie, right? Towards the end of that movie, to where you looked at Tom Holland's Spider-Man and you went, God damn it, that's Spider-Man. That's the individuality we've been looking for. That's the identity of Peter Parker, the identity of Spider-Man. That's what we've been waiting for. And now the future is so bright now for that character, because it's not in the spotlight of Iron Man and it can live within its own. And I kind of think part of the Flash's issue is you kind of making him like a Batman super fan. I mean, it's cool, but you kind of tie too much of him to Batman. And I think he needed that individuality to where he's just like, bro, I'm just as smart as Batman, right? Like I can figure some of this stuff out, right? I don't have to lean so hard on whether it's his tech or certain things like that. Like for me, the defining moment of Spider-Man was just building his own suit, right? Like just building it with the sewing machine and seeing how beautiful it is and how it pops, right? So it's just a simplicity, like I said. It's a simplicity, and I think James Gunn can definitely do it.
Yeah. Joel, you've waited for quite a long time hearing all of these thoughts, taking it in. Where are you?
All right. So I've been a Flash fan for a very long time. He's one of my favorite characters. I was Flash for Halloween once when I was a kid. It was, but my first Flash was John Wesley Shipp Flash in the 90s, who I met like 3 different times in my life. So, yeah, he's a really cool dude, and a really nice man. But that was my first introduction technically to the Flash, was that, and obviously reading comic books, where it was before Barry, you know. Well, actually, no, it was Wally most of my life, if not all of my life, until obviously the modern day during Rebirth and all that. But I do have a specific issue where Barry came back for an issue. I don't remember how or why. I just know that there was a difference between Barry and Wally, and they made sure that you could see the difference. And I grew up with the funny Flash, so that was the Justice League Flash that, you know, he has a little more of a sense of humor. Barry is more smarts and a little more vanilla. Let's be real. But they've, as time has went by, they've kind of blended the two characters personality-wise, just to make him a little different from the rest of the league, especially in Justice League. As you can see, he sticks out more because he's more vibrant and he's more fast-talking and he's sense of humor. And they kind of did that with the Justice League movie, where Ezra's Barry Allen is definitely an amalgam of the two, in the fact that he's acts more like Wally but uses Barry's name and more or less origin story, and looks nothing like either of them. So it's like okay, works. Whatever works. I was down for it. I wasn't exactly a fan of the casting at first, but he's a good actor, and he got me into it. So I watched BVS and I enjoyed it because Well, actually, there was not much of him in that to really weigh it. So Justice League, he did. I thought he was fine in Justice League. I understand where they were going with it. I kind of understood that it was going to be different, and he's playing a Barry Allen that's different than the Barry Allen that I'm used to. But he had to stick out from like Clark and Bruce and Diana and Arthur. They all had their roles to play. So I understand he was more of comedic relief, and he was like the rookie of the team. He was young, he even less mature than Cyborg for some reason in that movie. But whatever. But that's just what they chose to do with it, because that's the direction. As like someone was saying, it was more uniform. So it's like that's just a role he played in that world. And they have a chance to not do that right away, right? So depending on which Flash they go with from the gut, which is Barry Allen probably, who is the Flash of the Silver Age, modern day Barry. If you go too far, it'll be Jay. If it's more modern day, it'll be Wally. And even now, there's two Flashes, with Barry and Wally, both being the Flash at the moment. So I mean, the Flash of the future, the Flash I hope to see on screen, is definitely more of a more traditional. I don't want, maybe not exact, because the thing is they kind of did already with the TV show. Like that's how everyone I mentioned already was a great interpretation of Barry Allen's Flash. So you don't want to do exactly the same thing, but you also want to do something a little different. So because the TV show did a lot of right things, it also did a lot of wrong things. So you can definitely take the things that did wrong and right them, and just expand upon it. And definitely don't lean on the time travel as much in the multiverse. You don't really have to go into the multiverse as much. At this point, they only use it to fix when they fuck up something. So don't fuck up, so you don't have to fix anything. So they're like, and look, back in the day, he only could time travel when he was on that damn the treadmill. So, like, now he can do it on a whim, and it's like it's too simple. And like, I have an issue with OP characters to begin with. So like, if you can just tone it down a little bit, it'll help the character, and maybe you could have two Flashes at the same time. But at the moment, like, they're so, especially Wally, who's technically faster than Barry, it's like now it's too much. Like, so we'll see. Like, I'm very open. I want to see a Flash where in the future there is a Flash museum to go to. I want to see his Rogues Gallery in live action in a movie setting. The TV show did fine, but I want to see the movie Rogues. You know what I mean? Or movie Reverse Flash. I don't want to go back to Flashpoint anytime soon, but I do want to see that origin more or less kept the same. And I don't know. It's just I'm very excited for the future of where they could go with the Flash. He probably needs a break for a little bit now, just a breather, you know. But he should not be forgotten like they did with Green Lantern.
Yeah, 9 seasons in a movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do not just fridge him like Green Lantern. Please don't. That was way too long before we got.
That was ridiculous. I don't need that.
It's not nearly as bad as what happened to Robin, though. 26 years since Robin's been in a movie officially.
Yeah.
Robin's never been in a movie.
What? Okay, you know, I understand your vendetta with the Schumacher movies. Like, Burt Ward was in a movie, man.
Technically, yes, this is true. So there was 2 Robins in live action movies.
Just saying.
There was one. Sorry, there was one.
Yeah. But the best costume goes to the one that was on TV. Brenton Thwaites Robin. That was a cool costume. Not gonna lie, I'll give it.
Those are cool too.
Yes, it was pretty dope.
I like Batman and Robin.
We know.
Nice. Nothing wrong with that. It's a fun time once you realize what Schumacher is going for.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Modern day live action TV show.
Bad movie.
Yeah.
Bang. The only thing it was missing was the bams and the booms and the bangs.
So,
Ice to meet you.
Ice to meet you.
You remember the line though? Boom.
Yep, a lot of quotables.
Oh, a lot of quotables in that movie.
Cool party.
The neon lights. Don't forget the neon lights.
Beautiful.
Everybody, chill.
Where do you want to go when it comes to the Scarlet? The Flash, guys. The Flash. This is not a Batman and Robin review. We'll make that another episode one day. How about that? Where do we want to go with the Flash going forward? Because Joel, you did just say you're excited for the future, and you also believe though that we need to kind of like take a break from the character, just for a little bit. Doesn't have to be 10 years like they've done in the past, but when they return, I'm just going to toss it right back to you. What do you want to see?
I want to see I want to see maybe a movie version of how they at least started the Flash on TV, basically. You know what I mean? Just so that it was a nice jump start. So, but the continuation should be different. Obviously, you want the supporting cast. A lot of that was made up for the TV show. So I want the ones from the comic books. Let's go there. I would love for Jay to exist already, and let him be the first Flash. Honestly, so there is that relationship, or at least we get the beginnings of that relationship there between him and Jay Garrick, because we got it on TV, really cool, and I would love to see the JSA have existed before. We know there's going to be superheroes that exist already, so maybe the JSA has come before and Jay Garrick exists. I hope we'll see, and I would like to see that. Obviously, I told you earlier, the Rogues, I want to see like certain villains that didn't get to shine much on TV, or maybe did an injustice in TV. We could see them get more justice in the movies. And yeah, I just want to see a slow progression towards not the Flash. I don't need the whole family, because everybody has a family, and you don't need everybody, honestly. But if we have a Wally,
you don't need your uncles, your grandparents,
we really don't.
Cousins.
If they say Wally exists and he's the kid Flash already, I mean, I'm open to that, because I'm already believing that there's gonna be a Bat family. So I'm open to it. It's just maybe look, you're walking into a Flash. You don't really need an origin. We've seen it twice, basically. So we could just get it right. Oh, Flash is Flash from the get, So maybe that's what we do this time. We don't need an exact origin this go around, like they did with Homecoming, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like that.
That'd be cool. Actually, yeah, the Flash is, as Brandon, you may not like this. I'm about to say it though. The Flash's origin is so basic, we might be able to skip it. Really, honestly, guy gets struck by lightning, falls into chemicals. The end. Get to the cool stuff. Him training with the powers. Him becoming the Flash. Like, we don't need
your origin.
Like,
the
origin.
Yeah, you don't need the pearls. You don't need the whole thing. Just flashback to the lightning bolt and
do it in the introduction, in the credits, in the beginning, right?
Yes. It's funny. It's funny you all say that, but we got the Flash origin story 3 times in the movie, but that's a different story.
That's a good point.
That's very fair.
Yeah.
Now, wait, I don't know. Is it my turn?
Go for it.
Yeah.
We're all just gonna react to yours anyway.
Probably, right? So I'm gonna start with my biggest complaint of the Flash movie, because it ties into what I'm gonna talk about. Barry didn't learn anything. And the fact that Barry is a man, not a god, but he has godlike abilities. No matter what version of the Flash is, he has godlike abilities or develops them as he gets faster. It's just part of who he is as a hero, right? So the whole point of Flashpoint, or stories like that one, is that he actually learns and is humbled by those mistakes he makes, and that makes him a better hero. You know what I mean? Unlike Batman, that a lot of times he makes mistakes over and over again and just torments them because they just pile on. You know what I mean? And Superman has different struggles that not necessarily have to do with mistakes, but things that remind him that he's not capable of everything, right? So with Barry, when he makes mistakes, he learns from them. And that's a very key thing of who he is, which again ties into how much of a harbinger of hope he is. So in the movie, that's why my biggest complaint is the tomato can. After everything he saw, after all the death he saw that he caused, he still didn't learn anything. He still felt that he was owed something, like a normal person, which I'm not saying. But the whole thing about heroes is that they inspire you to be better.
Right.
So the fact that
I ain't signed up for that.
Because he worked smart.
But here's the thing, though. We don't see the consequences yet of what that decision, right? You know what I mean? So because we know for a fact, and I think that one of the best explanations of the dangers of Flashpoint, for example, was Jay Garrick in the show. In the show, Jay Garrick, episode 3, season 3, episode 1, he shows you can break a cup and you can put it back together and you can glue it, but you can still see the crack on it. And that's like the whole basis of him learning to do that, learning why not to make rash decisions because of the ability and the gifts that he's been given. That's another thing that kind of makes him like the Spider-Man in a way of the DC universe, because he is burdened with the responsibility because he is the key to the multiverse. He is the key to time travel. He is the key to all those little things, to breaking the source wall, like, which is a big thing in DC, right? Like, so he has all the responsibility, but he carries it with a smile because he can bring hope to others, right? So with that in mind, what we need to do, what I think James Gunn needs to create and shape for his universe, is this needs to be a Flash that learns to be a hero on his own. That grows within as a hero within the eyes of his city, which are defining factors that influence him, as the hero of Central City, the whole museum, like Joel said, and all that stuff. But also, it's the fact that something that Joel said very interestingly is that a lot of the characters that were added to the TV show for a supporting cast were there because you need different dynamics. You can't just see the one guy doing the same things, even though we're for Arrow for a season, but we're not going to talk about that. For Barry is a one-man army, actually, because he builds his stuff. He's a scientist. He investigates. He's one of the best detectives in the DC universe. That's why he's friends with Batman, because they both share the same laws and they're both detectives. Some of the most interesting detective stories in the DC universe are Batman and Flash working together, in looking at crime scenes together. You know what I mean? So, like, Barry could do all those things, but of course, in the TV show, we need to have variety and diversity. So we took those abilities kind of away from the Barry characters. So we can give it to other characters. Like Cisco is a superhero in the books in his own right, but we got to put him there. So he's going to be the engineer, even though Barry can do it himself. So you can have that version of Barry and let him be a hero in his own right. Because if you make him a hero in his own right, when Wally's introduced or other characters like that are introduced, or whenever he comes to join the Justice League or other members, it makes sense how he stands as the hero of Central City. And it makes sense that if he gets a case that he can't crack, it makes all the sense in the world if he picks up the phone and calls Bruce. But the funny thing is, if we're going to have Barry Allen, right, and we're going to make him his hero in his own right, the relationships with other DC characters has to make sense too. You know what I mean? I don't need the Justice League right away. But there's key characters in the DC universe that Barry hangs out with or has a relationship with that actually brings a lot to both of their worlds. Like, I mentioned all this thing about Batman, right? They have those connections. They have a very professional and emotional friendship, right? But he may go to solve a crime with Batman, but at the end of the day, he goes to the bar with Hal Jordan to take a couple of cold ones. You know what I mean? He and Hal are like the best of friends. And we're not talking about just Green Lantern and Flash. Like, they're buddies. Like, their families know each other. And, like, you know what I mean? Like, if they could be neighbors, they could. But then again, Flash can be in his house in 2 seconds, so it doesn't matter. But and Coast City and Central City are very close to each other, unlike Gotham and Metropolis that are supposed to be really far away. But, that's a different story.
We get it.
but like those are relationships that you can build off. Like, you don't have to have the whole league, but that's how you create those relationships and expand the universe little by little in a way that makes sense. Now, that is if we do Barry. Now, I am 100% for, which could probably be, I think, even though Barry is my favorite, but will probably make the more sense is that we shelve Barry and make Wally the main Flash. But we make a Wally that is in his early 20s that has just inherited the mantle of the Flash because Barry's, for some reason, is no longer around. And that kind of gives you an opportunity to have a Flash that starts as this young kid that thinks he's the bomb, right? To a degree. and then grows up into the responsibility of that mantle, of what it is to be Keystone Cities. Because remember, Wally West was the main character, was one of the pillars of the Titans. But once Barry died in Crisis, he became the main Flash. So he left the Titans. Like he can't just be in that group anymore. What was that?
He graduated day one.
Correct. And then he was the Flash for almost 15, 20 years. But we grew with him. Like he's one of the few superheroes that we saw that he grew. We saw him become a man. We saw him get married. We saw him get kids. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something in a world like James Gunn is kind of like saying he wants to build. That might be the way to go. But and that is the way into the Flash family in a way that makes sense. Because if you have Wally West as the main Flash and he's someone that's growing into that responsibility, it makes sense to have Jay Garrick there as a mentor. It makes sense because remember, Wally West is not Barry. He's not a one-man army that can engineer and do all this stuff. Wally doesn't know those things. He didn't go to college. He didn't have this knowledge. He just knows to be a hero. That's why, and he learns to interact with the Speed Force in a different way, which is why it's more spiritual. That's why he's able to generate his own suit out of the Speed Force as opposed to a ring. Like there's a lot of different things, but you can introduce Jay Garrick, you can introduce Max Mercury, you can introduce Jesse Quick in little things because from these different characters, he learns and becomes a better hero because they build him up. And if you wanted to go sidekick, you can introduce Bart Allen and give him the opportunity to be a mentor. So there's different ways you can go about it. And Wally West, I think, will be the best way that we can have an African-American Flash. Like take the Wallace West angle, but make him Wally West. Like just make it, because we know that African-American Iris West and Wally West works. They were amazing. It doesn't matter. It's the character that matters, right? If you have the right actor, we can have him be the Flash of our generation. And there's no reason we can't do that. And Wally West is best friends with Nightwing, because they kind of went on to graduate around the same time. So you have two heroes that are starting out on their own, hanging out with each other, which is, again, is another way to keep building that world and that relationship. So I think that's the way it should be. If we don't revamp Barry, the best way to hit the ground running and not wait too long is let's focus on Wally and build his world. And if we're really saying that superheroes have been going on for a long time, we can say that Barry is no longer there. Like we don't have to explain it.
Right.
You know what I mean? We can make it one of the mysteries of a sequel movie or another story is finding out what happened. You know what I mean? Like for example,
I did say this.
Right, like one of the most coolest things of the DC Rebirth is the fact that when the DC Rebirth moment, which was called Convergence, when all that happened in the comic books, everybody forgot about everyone else. So it's not like someone died. People just forgot that certain characters existed.
Like Wally.
Until Wally West appeared and Barry remembered. So you can just make Barry Allen be forgotten.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And at some point, you just reintroduced him, and then because of things in the multiverse, in the psyche or whatever, people start remembering the things that happened in the past, and that's just a gateway to a different story. But you know what I mean? But that's how I would do it.
Yeah.
Reverse engineering. That's interesting. That's very interesting.
Nice.
Take.
Yeah, I think that works very well. I think you can build that moment. Like you can make Barry's death mean something, right? Especially to the character of Wally. And then in the sequel, in the third movie, in a Justice League movie, you finally have Wally come back, or Barry come back, excuse me. And then that becomes a big, like, pivotal moment in the franchise, in the universe. And, you know, I hate to use the Flash as a reboot tool again, but, like, Barry coming back can be the way we reset the switch again. And
or you
it's
can
a soft
even
reboot.
Or you can even do it where, for some reason, Wally West is the only one that remembers Barry.
Yeah.
And that gives them another, like, he can't bring it up because he knows that other people don't remember, but for some reason it keeps affecting him. So he's the one person that never lets go of that first Scarlet Speedster. You know what I mean? That taught him everything he knows and all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. That's a very cool angle. Juwaan, what are your thoughts?
I've told you this before. I don't like any possibility of not having Barry the first go around. For me, I view the order of things first of all, but more importantly, Flash is not like Batman or Spider-Man, to where we've had like 900 movies at this point, right? So if you wanted to go Miles or you wanted to go Dick Grayson, because Bruce is much, much, much older, it could work because you might have an audience that is just fatigued of seeing the same person and would like to see different people get the time. But for me, if you do it that way, I guess the biggest problem I would have in that is that if you're starting off with Wally, at that point you've committed. You just go forward with Wally being the only, well, not the only, but the main Flash. Because once you bring Barry back, how do you then have Wally take a back seat to now the main character of Barry, or vice versa?
Comics
you know what I'm
still
saying?
Struggling with that.
So that's what I'm saying. To me, it just works better to where you either fully commit that Barry it just does not exist, or you just go to where Wally is the sidekick. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Brandon. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. You're good. I want to.
No, I don't want you. I don't want you to forget what you're gonna say. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna trust me. I'm not. Go.
So that's just my mindset there. I mean, because we just talked about all the things that are fixable with Barry, right? And none of them were difficult, right? They're all very small, fixable things. You just need someone that's extremely passionate about the character of Barry Allen that can get it right. So to me, I kind of just don't want, because like you guys said, I mean, even Jamie, that's why I'm like, when Jamie said it, that was perfect. Where you guys are like, well, that was Wally. Well, that was also Wally. I think we're kind of now, and Mike, you said this to me before, we're kind of in a sphere to where I don't think many people would know the difference if you told them Justice League Unlimited was Barry or Wally, right? So, I mean, that's where it kind of...
The only giveaway is his hair. He's wearing the helmet the entire time.
Right.
I was just saying, the only way you can tell is his hair. Yeah.
So for me, I kind of just think you should have some kind of order, especially because it seems like we're not going to get it in Batman Brave and Bold. You're immediately going to Batman has been doing it for a while. Now here comes his son. Dick Grayson's old. Well, not old, but it's not Robin. He's obviously Nightwing probably at this point. Barbara Gordon probably exists. So there should be an order of things elsewhere. Like you have Hal and you have John. You don't wipe out Hal just to have John.
We know we got Guy too.
And we got Guy, right. Mm-hmm. So for me, I just think you should either go the route to where Barry is active and Wally has been a sidekick for like a year or two. Or you just completely just abolish Barry and Wally is the only one that anyone's ever known as the Flash. But to wrap it up, just hope. That's really all you have to do. Colorful and hope. I think if you kind of just make those two things perfect, I think you kind of can truly draw out the essence of what Flash should be going forward that I think we really didn't have much of in the last regime.
Fair.
So,
Brandon, you had something to say?
Yes. So, I see what you're saying. And this is coming from someone that doesn't need Wally in his life, but sees his importance. I understand that. But taking fact to reality, I think Wally should be given a shot to be by himself. But I'm going to throw this out there. So during Flash War, right, which is one of the first arcs. So Joshua Williamson had this amazing run for the Flash. It's one of the best runs I've ever read in my life. Like the New 52 brought him back right after DC Rebirth. They did the whole New 52 thing with after Flashpoint. You got the New 52 run, then DC Rebirth, and you have Joshua Williamson that wrote the Flash for almost 100 issues. He's the one that did Year One and all that. But he also wrote Flash War, which is this big moment where Flash and Wally were literally at war to a degree, right? So here's the thing. When Wally comes back to DC Rebirth, when he's released from the Speed Force and all that stuff, number one, he has a brand new distinctive suit. Highlights the hair. And he looks very different in particular. He does not look like a sidekick. That's one. Two, after Flash War, he's taken to Sanctuary, and you have the whole Heroes in Crisis event, which a lot of people hate or don't like or dislike. But it's amazing, right? Yeah. That it gives you because it gives you a gateway into Flash Forward, which is a solo arc for Wally, where he is officially declared the fastest man in the multiverse. So it makes perfect sense if they were to have Wally. But once Barry comes back, if he ever comes back, you can make that distinction where both of them are just destined to have different adventures in different corners of the DC multiverse. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can leave Wally as the main one and have Barry be the one that's exploring the multiverse to do different things. But you don't have you can have two Flashes. If you can have multiple Green Lantern Corps from Earth, if you can have multiple Superman, which now we have two with Jonathan Kent and Kal-El, like you can have two Flashes because they have something to bring to the table, and you can tell very distinct stories with each of them. Like you don't have to have one or the other first or after. I think that would be limiting the characters when they can actually be made to work.
Yeah, but I think nothing you said kind of washes away what I was saying, because to me, I think everything you said can be done if you do start off with Barry. Because to me, I kind of think
well, the
of
whole
it like
thing
this.
With Barry, and
ahead,
see, but the whole thing with Barry, and I'm sorry, I just want to throw this out there. The whole thing with Barry though is, it's harder to bring Barry now or sooner. We have to wait longer to bring Barry back. I think that's my biggest thing, because the way the Flash tanked and damaged the brand, bringing Barry back sooner rather than later, it's gonna hurt. So if we start with Wally, we can bring that character back faster. That's the way I see it.
I get you, but that mindset is why we went feels like 20 years without a Green Lantern. What I was gonna say is, I think the route you're going a little bit, because then at that point, if people are just used to Wally, what point do you need of bringing, like, okay, so
I mean, for what it's worth, most people are used to Wally. That's the.
But I'm saying that, like,
most people are used to Jon Stewart more than Hal Jordan, especially nowadays.
Right, and I'm saying if Gunn feels the importance of Hal Jordan starting, I think you should also share that sentiment with Barry. What I'm saying is that you do have, and I know Joel hated when me and Mike talked about this before, but you do have a fan base that right now, not of all time, just right now, when they think Spider-Man, they think Miles Morales, right? Because of the popularity of the character right now, right? Casual audiences, not people that obviously know Spider-Man.
I just disagree, because Peter Parker has had billion-dollar movies for the last 10 years, but go on.
If the casual audience member, if you told them hey, Miles was Spider-Man, I don't think the casual audience member would really know the difference, outside of obviously just the suits look different, right?
That's what you were saying about Wally. Disagree.
But here's the thing, though. But you kind of want people to learn that Miles is Spider-Man.
But that's the point I was about to say. What made Miles special in that movie was the idea that he had to earn it, right? It wasn't just given. He had to earn being a Spider-Man. So I'm saying, I think everything you said works if Wally earns being a Flash. You start with Barry, you do a event movie that Barry disappears, in the responsibility of living up to Barry is given to Wally, to where he now does the new suit, kind of like in the Miles Spider-Man game, where Genki told him, bro, you are Spider-Man. You have to stop thinking the other guy is the only Spider-Man. Be you. And that's when he embraces being himself. He looks different, right? Everything about Miles, the way he swings, everything is just different. He embraces himself. But if you just start off that way, that's not earned.
Would you settle for an event movie where the Flash is introduced as Barry Allen, but he also dies in that movie, and that's when
That's why I said you just have to.
thing.
You have to fully commit. You can't do all right, Barry's just gone.
Or
you've embraced Wally fully, right? And then Barry just comes back. No, to me, if you're gonna commit, fully commit.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. I think we should fully commit Wally and avoid all that setup because I think it's 100% unnecessary because it's a lot stronger as a storytelling device for Wally to earn or grow as a hero in its absence because we don't see him, but we remember him or we remember others that know him, as opposed to having an event film where we reintroduce them to then make him go away. I feel that all that setup, it is not necessary for this new edition of The Flash, especially when we have a TV show that the world over recognizes as a quintessential version of that Barry Allen character. We don't need to shoe him in to justify Wally's existence. I think Wally is a good enough character and a strong enough character that if written right, you don't need Barry Allen first.
Again,
The same thing goes for Miles, by the way.
I don't
Miles
disagree.
does not need Peter Parker.
He does not need him, but if you're introducing Miles in a world that Peter exists, you very much would need to go in the order of it. Because the first question the audience is probably going to have is, well, why do I need both, right? Like, what does one do that's different from the other? And when you don't show the other, and you're just showing just this one, it does build up. Well, I don't understand what is the point of having both of these guys. So that's why I'm saying, to your point, if you want to start with Wally, no problem. There just should not be any shroud of Barry comes back. Barry's gone. That's it. That's done. He died. He's done. That's all I'm saying.
Let me ask this, because I just thought about this. So let's say we do start with Barry, and then I don't know at what point Wally enters the picture. But when Wally enters the picture, are you just going to retire Barry because you don't want multiple flashes? Or what do you do with him?
So that's the thing. I don't think that anybody needs to be retired.
Yeah.
So that's my take. Nobody needs to be retired. I think we just need to pick one and go with it, which is what Juwaan's saying.
No.
But I don't agree with the idea of if we focus on Wally, there can't be any evidence that Barry is around, because I think that's just, to me, that would just be poor storytelling. To me, that's for example, one of the greatest things that everybody loved in the Dark Knight movies, no matter what you think of them, is whenever someone would say Metropolis, everyone would be like, "Oh shit, like Superman somewhere, bruh." You know what I mean? Like, there's something about that goosebump that one would get about how big the world feels when you name drop or give allusion to something else, right? That I think, especially in the Flash world, would work perfectly fine. And would actually enrich the experience.
Also kind of missing the... Yeah, sorry. I just want to add right quick. We're also forgetting that they are like related. They're family. So you're going to have to reference his dead uncle or brother, however they want to tackle that relationship. Iris is going to be in Wally's stories in some capacity. So whether you want to bring Barry back or not, I think it would be a very emotional moment if you do bring Barry back. Like, Wally finds a way to get Barry back, and him and Iris reunite with Barry. And a second movie, a third movie, whatever, I feel like you are leaving a lot of storytelling potential on the table that you don't necessarily have to. Especially, I still am of the mindset of, I don't want the Speed Force anyway, because I think it's very messy and overly complicated. So if we depower the Flashes a little bit, they can coexist. One's on the Titans, one's on the Justice League. The end. I just don't like having two gods running around changing the timeline.
And also the whole thing with Wally is Wally's main, he lives in Keystone, which is, in terms of relationship and distance, it's like Manhattan and Long Island. They're a bridge away. Like, they're like very close to each other. You know what I mean? Like, so he takes all that territory because Barry's no longer around. You can also do a storyline that whenever Barry is saved from the Speed Force, part of it cost him his powers, and he's no longer the Flash, and he's trusting his nephew, to be the hero because he's more than earned it. What an amazing moment would have been that he actually saves Barry. He saves the day. And Barry says, I don't feel I need to run anymore because you got it.
I'm
You know what I mean? Like,
Nikes up.
I just don't think any of that has to be without the idea that you start off with Barry. That's all I'm saying. Everything you're saying, I think you can do
fair.
with starting off with Barry. Every last thing you said. Because, I mean, think about...
Oh, and I'm not saying
we're also in a universe where we're starting off with Damian, though. So we're just taking that into account.
Well, no. I definitely get that. But I'm saying, to me, one of the biggest things that led me to believe James Gunn does respect the order of things is that Green Lantern movie very, very easily could have just been Jon Stewart. Right? It just could have been Jon Stewart. It did not have to be Jon Stewart and Hal. You could have did Jon Stewart's story, showcased the value of Jon Stewart, said that Hal Jordan is off somewhere doing stuff with stuff on OO, whatever. But he's understanding the importance of showcasing both of them. And then if you wanted to later on say Hal's just like, bro, this is your shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? I can't keep coming back and forth. You got it. That's all I'm saying. So if he shows the importance there, and we have Batman and Nightwing, not Nightwing or Damian taking care of Gotham while Batman is doing shit in fucking Watchtower.
See, but the whole Green Lantern thing to me, I don't, because if what you're saying was the case, then what is Guy Gardner doing in Superman Legacy?
Because there's multiple. They've probably been lanterns.
No, but that's
what
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's not about the order of things. It's about the fact that there's such a bunch of them, and he picked two.
I'm saying in that Green Lantern movie, he has both of them. That's what I'm saying. Right. I'm not talking about the order of when we see them. The Green Lantern movie
I
will
got
have
you.
Hal and John. So that's all I'm saying. It's just Barry and Wally can still work.
So if we get Barry Allen, and at the end of the movie, Wally gets struck by lightning, you cool with that?
Yeah, I don't have any issues with Wally. Like, all I'm saying is that I like the order of things. So it's the idea: if you get Barry first, right, you bring respectability back to the name of Barry. And then if Barry in 6 movies or whatever, the new Flash is now Wally because of an event that happened and Barry disappeared or whatever, no problem. That's what I'm saying. Everything you're saying can definitely work with Barry still starting off. That's all I'm saying. I just think that's the better way to earn it is when it's passed down, right? Rather than just like it's just you essentially off screen. Barry disappeared. It is just you now. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just better when you do it that way because then the audience just reacts a lot more to the idea of like, damn, bro, like he's been working up to this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like Spider-Man trying to get out of Tony Stark's shadow. He earned that shit. Everything that happened in No Way Home, he earned that. You know what I'm saying? He earned that. So that's what I'm saying. You can just have both. That's it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You go a lot of different directions.
Trayvon, Jamie, Joel, any thoughts?
A lot of different ideas.
I feel like, I don't know, although this conversation has been interesting, I don't think people are going to think about this nearly as much. I feel like they're just going to take what they're given.
They don't even know the difference between the two. I'm going to be real.
Me.
Right.
Right. But even then, I feel like if we're looking at like the more, I guess, in tune fans that do know the difference between Barry and Wally, we, like Brandon was saying, we do have a serviceable Barry with the CW Flash that people have really enjoyed. So if they wanted to move past and just do Wally, I think people would be fine with that. If they wanted to like reboot Barry, do something different, I think people would also be fine with that. I don't think anybody is really gonna harp on the detail of like who comes before who. Unless they like drastically change the character or something like what you guys are saying. As long as the core values are there, I think everybody's gonna have a good time.
I enjoyed the CW as much as the next guy, but I could not lay my head on my pillow comfortably knowing that is the last time we saw Barry as the main. I wouldn't be able to sleep. I wouldn't be able to. And knowing that movie that we just got was the last time Barry was the focus. Yeah, I could
see, and that's kind of the reason. And going off of what Jamie just said, it was a great point that goes with that is that the show had a good start with the introduction of Wally, and then it just went away.
Yeah,
and they could have done
money justice.
Yes. So Wally deserves his time in the sun. That's all I would say. That's and because of how bad the Flash was, I this is the time to give him his time. That's all.
That is so unfair to Barry. We all agreed that.
You know what was unfair to
the
Wally? The
pictures
CW
behind
treating
him?
him like garbage.
I don't disagree, but that's not Barry's fault.
Okay.
Barry shouldn't have to suffer for that. Wally can
I'm
still
just
have his
saying.
time in the sun, but let's just do better by Barry. That'd be great.
What if it was
let's do
like, I
better by
know
the man.
last stream we kind of talked about when we were doing the castings, like
Oh, we got to
I
do
think
fan cast too today.
we do. But when we were doing the castings last stream, I think it was a couple of people that kind of when they chose their actor, it was like it could be Barry, it could be Wally, could be a fusion of the two characters. Like, would you be down for a fusion between Barry and Wally, Juwaan?
No,
No,
I wouldn't.
thank you. Yeah,
no. I need
No.
him to be the character.
We've gotten that a million times, so sure, whatever.
That's not,
I was about to say. I mean, that was a lot of people's argument on what Ezra's version of the Flash was
No,
like
Ezra
trying to
was
do
not a good
a
Barry
blend
or
of-
Wally, if we're being real.
No, but I'm saying they were trying to blend the two. How he was able to portray the role, I don't disagree, but it seemed like they were trying to find a middle ground of those two characters, which was weird. But no, you just smushing them together, nah. At that point, shit, fuck it, just choose Barry or Wally. Choose at that point.
A lot of
If your
heat
idea
here.
is to
A lot of
bring them
heat.
together.
I just feel like this new universe is gonna have room for everyone, so we don't need to.
Amen.
pick.
I agree. I think they can do it. Two guys that run fast. Who cares? No, I'm just kidding.
If the
Just
X-Men if the Marvel universe could get away with Quicksilver in the same year that Quicksilver appeared in a completely different universe,
We can do
we
it.
can get away.
With Barry and Wally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are two different
Folk show.
universes, though. I feel like that's the point.
Buddy.
Mike, come on. Why are you trying to fight this with logic? Come on.
Trevon is thinking of a lot of things. Trevon,
Sorry.
what you got in your
I
head,
made-
bro?
Oh,
Sorry, I'm literally working at the same time. So
Good, bro.
He's trying to be in the Speed Force right now.
Hey, it says it on the back screen. Nerd with the tech. We get it.
yeah. He's in his own bubble.
yeah, pretty much.
Little speed bubble. All right.
Yeah.
I think the best way for I get it, everybody, you want both of them, whatever. The best way for us to actually get the Flash in the next 3 years is probably have Barry gone. Just to be honest, like I do not think we're gonna touch Barry again
Fair.
for a good amount of time. So, if you want Flash, you might gotta get on the train for Wally being the main one. That's all I'm saying.
Now, is that because of Ezra and kind of like his attachment to the character, or is it just because you feel like you've seen a lot with
He's
Barry?
just been done like the whole 9
Okay.
seasons, and then you have the movie. Like he's been done.
Besides
like,
the point of how we feel about the
on
film.
the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we barely got Wally on the
Yep.
show, so it's like
Yep.
it's fine. But we definitely got a lot of Barry.
Yep.
So
And we give him the DC Rebirth suit, bruh. And we give him the Blue Lightning, bruh.
it would be
Same.
cool. It would be
Same.
very cool, and I think that's what they should do. But like I said, something happened to him, or literally just say he died. I don't know. I'm fine with it. That's just like
He went to the
So
Speed
a
Force,
thing
never
that
came back.
happened in the 90s, like I'm pretty sure the Speed Force didn't exist during Wally's early years as the Flash, if I remember that correctly. So you can have them like discover the actual Speed Force.
Yeah, the concept
how
of the
Barry
Speed Force.
Yeah,
Right.
right. Like at that point, they were just really fast. But like the power of the Speed Force and the time travel and the multiverse, like you can have all that be a story beat, and that is how they find Barry. That is how he comes back. And now Barry's a god because he's got the Speed Force, and he's back to the Barry Allen that we know and love. That's just a way they can kind of go about it. And it also depowers them a little bit because again, I don't like being able just to rewrite history because we've done that a lot. Flash has been in 2 movies. He's done it both times.
I do want to say this. Whatever version we bring, if he races Superman, please highlight that he beats him? Because he is faster.
Yeah. I don't think it's much of a debate. My
Very
opinion,
true. Way faster.
They should know that.
Yeah.
He better be faster. His power is speed. If he can't beat Superman, like, why is he on the team?
That's true.
Stop
Very
it.
good point.
The one thing you do, you don't do it as well as Superman. You need to get off the
You
team.
had
I'm sorry.
one job.
Right. Yeah.
Seriously.
It's like, why do we need you?
Oh man.
Catch the babies. No.
Yeah.
That was wild.
All right. So we didn't settle the debate on Barry or Wally, but that's okay. We're gonna fan cast both. So we're gonna move on to who should play Barry Allen. Brandon, you gave a couple of picks, a decent amount of picks. Juwaan, you gave your main pick, which is really interesting one. So we want to get into it, Brandon. We're gonna just go through your list. Okay.
Okay,
sure. He's only got the one, but let's start with Juwaan. That's fine. Let's pull it up. Juwaan, talk about your pick for Barry Allen.
My pick for Barry Allen is none other than Jack Quaid. I think he embodies everything you would need. I remember when the news first dropped of Ezra and all the craziness going on, I immediately went to Instagram, put up this fan cast and said, do it now, you cowards. Recast him and make this man Barry Allen. I love it because the all the things that you said, Brandon, him being smart, the idea of, you know, the science, the detectiveness, all those beats. I think Jack could nail it. I really do. And it's just something about, like, when you look at him, you look at that face, and you're just like, I could see that being hope, like that being what is the face of hope, right? Wait, would you say, Trevor?
I was gonna make a joke. I was like, he has range, you know. He could be all scared of the boys and be a killer and scream.
There you go. Exactly. And The Boys is where I really grew to love Jack.
He also plays Superman.
No, he's great. Jack Quaid is great.
He does also play Superman. Yep. Even that is just like, you know what it is, Mike. It's one of those things where it's like the way he voices Superman. I just close my eyes and I can envision everything without actually having to physically watch the episode. Right? Like, the way he lends his voice to Superman just kind of like embodies it for me. So I'm like, oh, you just slap a cowl over it. Bada bing, bada boom. But no, I really do think he can embody everything the Flash needs to be. And just his nerdy side in The Boys is definitely what I was just like, I could get a Barry out of that guy. So this has been my fan cast for a long time. And it will continue to be till James Gunn and whoever directs the next Flash goes the opposite way. So that's who I want for my Flash.
Interesting.
I like Jack. I actually really like this pick, personally.
I like it.
I like Jack.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You're already off to a better start than Didge last week.
What's his pick?
Not too much on
man.
Didge. Not too much.
I don't even remember.
Not too
That's
much.
the point.
Man, that bad, huh? He doesn't remember. Trevon doesn't remember. That's that bad, huh?
Didge, I was trying to support you. I said not too much on Didge. I want that to be remembered.
I wasn't trying to be. I was legitimately just trying to remember.
I really need to go look because I really don't remember.
No, I don't either. Jesus
You
Christ.
guys are just piling it on. We should move on.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, that was it?
So
This is
so that's my first pick. So I got five
Multiple picks. Oh my.
Who is
Yeah,
this?
I know. I got excited.
All right.
So I got 5 for Barry and 3
Went
for
full
Walt.
Sanji.
Okay.
So, hey man, you told me to cook. I don't know why. I'm tired of seeing Boyd Holbrook as a bad guy or as a dick in movies. Like everything he plays does, but I feel that he may have the potential for a lot of range, and I like the build. Like, to me, the only thing with Jack Quaid, and this sounds stupid. It's gonna sound super stupid, but it's like,
No, it's coming.
I'm glad that Grant Gustin was a great actor because he doesn't have the build, right? Like, the one thing about the Flash is that he's not Henry. He's not supposed to be Henry Cavill or Batman build, right? But he's supposed. I mean, runners are cut and fit because of the exercise. You know what I mean? So like Boy Holbrook has that style. He has that demeanor. He's blonde. Uh, so I don't know. I think he would be a great pick for this character, and also to see him do something different. So,
Okay.
I think it would be cool.
Digit's choice was a Stranger Things boy, by the way.
Oh,
So you know what's funny? I saw the stream and I picked that guy, which we can skip him because in reality I haven't seen him in enough things for it to matter. So I haven't seen it. I haven't seen him in enough things to matter, but I just found it I just found that it's an interesting pick, which is why I picked him. But yeah, Boy Holbrook, I think would be very interesting.
Is this the guy that was in
Logan.
yep.
So he was in Logan as a dick.
Sandman? No.
Yep.
Yeah.
He wasn't saying that.
Yes,
It wasn't.
yes.
Okay.
He plays the guy with the teeth in his eyes.
Right, that guy. The
Yes.
Oh,
Corinthian.
man.
He's a little
Yes.
too
I forgot about that.
smooth for the character to me. I don't know.
You don't have to go full vanilla with Barry. Come on, he's evolved since then.
He don't.
I mean,
He's a bit
like
older
every
than
great
I would
superhero.
probably want to go, but
Yeah, he is. It depends on which version of Barry, I guess.
Mhm.
yeah,
More
like,
mature one,
see,
sure.
when I see him, I see New 52 Barry. Joel, if you can see what I'm saying.
He might be older than that version, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
No, but I know what you mean. But like for example, that's another thing because he's older. He's 41 now.
Yeah,
But the whole thing with Boy is like he's the kind of character he can play young.
yeah.
Like you know what I mean?
If you're going like a Barry that's probably been around as long as, let's say, Batman, then maybe, yeah, because then that's like, all right, early 40s, late 30s, and you have a Wally that's in his mid 20s or some shit like that.
Right.
That makes
Right.
sense. You know?
I dig it.
Want to go to the next one?
Pulled a picture of him without the mustache and the beard, and
I
see
tried,
it.
man.
I can see
he
it.
only has this mustache.
He loves
Yeah,
that mustache.
I
He
will
loves that
say-
no,
mustache.
I pulled up the one there's a picture with him in front of a Netflix thing. He
I
has
do
nothing.
feel like Mike did have a little bit of advantage last time because he was selecting the photos, but he's not in the running this time, so it'll be different maybe.
Like you were speaking the worst
I
pictures
did
for
my
things to pick that
best.
weren't
They
his.
picked some questionable pictures for some of the actors. I was like, there wasn't anything else.
Yeah,
On to the next one.
I tried not to say anything. I was like, this would have helped it look different. Sometimes,
Whoa, Garrett Hedlund.
Garrett
Who's
Hedlund. See, this is a
on?
guy that needs another shot at something.
He sure does.
Because I think he gets a lot of crap for how bad Tron Legacy was. But I don't think it's his fault. I don't think whatever happened with Tron Legacy was his fault necessarily.
Forgot that was him.
Yeah, it was him. It's been a couple of years.
Me too.
But
Yeah.
I think he has that lead potential energy. And again, physically, I think he looks like the role. So that's why
I'm
I could
looking at
see him.
some. I don't know if these are recent images, but he's not. He don't look like the same man in this. Maybe I got the wrong guy. Hold on.
Jamie, do you want to share your screen?
I don't know if I do.
it's in Discord.
Yeah, I'll copy the picture and put it in Discord.
So this is a really bad way of sharing, but no, that's not gonna work.
Green
But
screen
okay,
is
if you guys look at the
eating that
picture,
book
if you look at the picture that I have over here,
He's like,
It is.
yeah, I see it. Yeah.
if you want to give me the one shot, Mike, real quick. This is from Flash Year One.
Yeah, one sec.
The picture that I'm pointing on, like
No,
you see that, and I can see
Okay,
Garrett
'cause I was like,
Hedlund.
this does not look right.
Okay.
I can see Garrett Hedlund there. You see what I'm saying?
Garrett Hedlund.
So,
Oh, I got the last name wrong. That's what it was.
yeah. What were you looking for, Jay?
Oh,
Like,
you don't want to see it.
Yeah, it was like I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to say my reasoning. I was
She's
just gonna
like,
say I don't
wow.
know if he can play the Flash.
What a transformation.
Yeah.
so what do you guys think about Garrett?
Oh my gosh.
Probably the same I feel about Boyd. If you're going older Barry, it's not bad at all.
He's 38.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly. It depends on how old you want Barry to be.
He looks like a pretty cool guy. Interesting.
He plays cool.
The right one, you mean?
Yeah.
He looks like
Yes,
he'd
the
be Barry.
correct actor. The correct actor.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen him in anything. At least I don't.
Damn, what's he been in?
Oh,
Tron Legacy.
damn it.
I mean,
There's
that
like
was a
a
long
younger
time
picture
ago,
of him.
that's the
I
case.
could totally see it.
Yeah.
Maybe if he gets rid of the facial hair and
he likes facial
Yeah.
hair. I've seen fan casts of him as Green Arrow before because of that facial
I
hair.
could see that.
Yes.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
that.
So let's go to the next one. So this is one of my top picks.
Oh,
Yes, I'm on. Yep, that's it.
I've liked
That's it.
him
Jesus
for
Christ.
Barry
That's
for the longest time. I think
Perfect.
he has the range to do it from both emotional action and you know what I mean? Like I don't think he's really taken projects that have done him any favors, I would say.
Mhm.
Like he just hasn't picked the right projects. But like I don't think he's a bad lead. I mean, the Maze Runner movies did okay,
I love Dylan.
Yeah.
you know,
gotta sell him
and
up.
I didn't see him, but I thought he was hot.
Styles.
Yeah, he was
yes.
great. Teen Wolf. He was Teen Wolf.
And that's what I mean. Like, for example, when you see him in Teen Wolf, which like, that show was pretty fire, but then you see him in Maze Runner, and then you see him in American Assassin, I think is what it is.
Oh yeah.
Like, you can see him
The
do all
range.
this. Like, that's the range. And I think he's the perfect age if we're going to start with Barry. You see
Well,
what I'm
he's
saying?
Yeah,
Because he's 31 right now.
right.
So he can play a little
Mhm.
older. He can do flashbacks being a little younger, like in CSI school, whatever. That,
Same
you know what I
age
mean?
as Jack
Yeah.
Quaid, basically.
Yes. So I like him a lot, and he runs a lot of the Maze Runner movie, so we know he doesn't run like a gazelle. So
I highly doubt.
That is true.
Good running form.
He ran a lot in Teen Wolf as well. So, but yeah.
yeah. So
If
now-
running was a requirement, I would have put Tom Cruise on this list.
Yeah.
see, he can play Jay Garrick.
Jay Garrett.
I'm about to say.
If it was like
yeah,
maybe 20 years ago.
Yes,
Maybe.
for real.
over hyped and excited sofa jumping, Jay Garrick.
They still want
So,
Tom Jordan.
now,
Watch.
how do you guys? So I guess you go all like Dylan O'Brien then.
I love
so we can
Dylan.
go to
I don't
the
know if I love
I
him
think
as
that's a good pick.
I love
Barry,
him.
but I
Always
do
the one.
like Dylan. You know why? Because for the longest time I've had Dylan in my head as Nightwing. So for me, it was very hard for me to disconnect.
Interesting.
And he's too, to me now, he's just too old for Nightwing. So he needs a part. Maybe this is it, but I don't know.
His energy. We're gonna have this debate again. He feels like Wally more than Barry to me.
Fair.
Like,
Especially
he's a good
Teen
actor.
Wolf.
He can
You
do
haven't
both.
seen him in Teen Wolf. He can do it.
So the cool
he's
thing
definitely
is
more
though,
Wally.
I know he
Dylan
can do
can
it,
do
but I'm just
either
saying.
or. I think Dylan can do either or.
Yeah.
He can do Barry. He can do Wally. He has black hair, so he can go red or go.
He got range.
He does.
Yes, he got the range.
Yeah.
Now
Yes, first.
my second to last pick, because we're skipping Carrie,
Penultimate. Correct.
is Logan.
Oh, there's my guy right there.
Wait a
Bro.
minute. Ooh,
I'm gonna tell you right now,
is
this
difficult.
picture doesn't do him justice
Sure
because
doesn't.
he got
I like
bulked
Logan.
up. He got a little bulked up for
Oh, did
so there's this Amazon show called Hunters,
Yes.
and he is
Got
amazing
full
in that
beard in
show.
that.
Yes.
The second
So
season.
there's something about
The reason I didn't go with that show is because that's not how he's gonna look as Barry.
Not at all.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
not at all.
But
Yeah.
I like he's another character. I mean, we've seen him Perks of a Wallflower, we've seen Percy Jackson, we've seen him in Hunters. Like he has so much range, and he's the perfect age to play Barry.
Damn,
30,
he's also 31.
Yeah, I'm about to say
So-
same age as those guys.
Yeah. So okay, I guess we all like Logan then. So now
I like
the last one, I only picked him because I saw the trailer recently, and I like the way he looks. I've never seen him act in anything, but
Just visually.
yeah, visually I could see it.
Sometimes that's enough.
and it's Tom Blythe.
Yep.
Not exactly. What?
Who
And
is this?
Where is he from?
So he's playing President Snow, or the guy that becomes
Oh,
President Snow
The young
in the
one.
new Hunger Games movie.
I could not get a good picture of this guy. I'm sorry.
How old is he?
What's his
He's
name?
like 26. He's like 26. Tom Blythe.
Too young. For
Ew.
this.
Cool name.
Lift?
I don't like being the same age as Barry Allen.
So I don't know. Again,
Liv?
my top picks were Dylan and Logan. This was just a wild card that, for some reason, as I was looking for different actors, makes sense for like 2 seconds.
Prequel.
Katniss prequel. That's what we're calling it. The
Yep.
Katniss prequel.
Yeah,
That's what he calls it.
that's what he's
Now-
been calling it forever.
So,
I
you
just
guys,
found
I think we all agree that Dylan and Logan are like the biggest picks, right? They're pretty solid. So, if y'all remember, well, before I say anything about Wally, you guys have anything else to say about these picks?
Oh,
Out of your
we gotta
selection,
pick.
I'd like Dylan
Yeah.
personally.
Wow. You
Great
go ahead,
choice, great
Trayvon. I'm
choice,
still
man.
deciding.
Oh, look, I love Logan, but Dylan, he needs it. I need it. I need
Yeah,
it.
I don't know. Dylan is my top pick, bro.
Great.
It's between Dylan and Logan. Those are the two guys that I'm like, damn,
Great.
they can do this. They can do this.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like
It got to be me, Mike.
all three.
I respect it.
Jack from Juwaan's selection and Dylan and Logan. I feel like they all could work, but something about Jack I like a little bit better because he does, at least from like the things that I've seen, he can play like a little bit of that nerdy side. And although I don't have like history with Flash that much, we have talked about his intelligence, and like he's very much like kind of like the do-it-yourself kind of guy, where he's working on his own like he worked on his own suit and like figuring out like how just to operate as the Flash. So I don't know, he has a little bit more of a nerdier look to him, not as like a slight. I don't think being nerdy means you're ugly or anything, but just had to put that out there. But
Okay.
but yeah, I think I might go with him.
The one thing about Jack Quaid that troubles me, it's gonna sound super stupid. I think he's too tall.
6'2".
Wait,
He's a
which
little
one?
tall.
Which one?
No,
I
sorry. I tried to be quiet this whole time.
I think he's
we're
too
going
tall
on
for the Flash.
30 years of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and y'all eat that shit up. You can take a little bit of a
Not
tall
too much.
Flash.
Not too much on Hugh Jackman.
You can
Not
take
too
a
much.
little
Bruh,
tall
Not too
Flash.
much.
Okay, we are going on almost 30
Trayvon's right.
goddamn
Leave Hugh Jackman
years
out of this.
of Hugh
Not too
Jackman.
much.
So how tall is the Flash?
Like,
I will.
Which one's the tall one?
I
What's the
still
height?
very much complain about
Who gives a
that height.
crap?
Right. I'm sorry. No, don't care.
Again,
How
That's
tall
all
is
I'm
the Flash
saying.
usually?
I'm
He's
just
not-
sharing a thought.
That's around this height.
I'll
6
take
foot,
I'll
6'4".
take
6
the
foot?
Barry's
Yeah.
usually
Okay.
6 feet.
Yeah, he's 6 foot. It says he's like 6 foot and 3/4 for some reason. He's 6 foot.
That's around his height, 6 foot.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's not far off.
And
How tall is
remember,
Logan
bulking
Lerman
up.
and Dylan?
Bulking up is definitely, because that was the other thing you said, Brandon. Bulking up is something that's just a requirement based on whoever the director is, or if James Gunn weighs in on things like that. I think anyone that we put on here can bulk up if need be.
They're all
Oh
small.
yeah, agree.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just my only issue with your two picks. The acting is there, right?
True.
My only issue is, like Joel said, and it has nothing to do with me wanting him to have been Nightwing. His face just looks rugged, like it's somebody that could be like, I don't know. He just seems battle tested. His face
Who?
is a little bit.
That's
Ooh.
because that picture doesn't help it at all. But
It doesn't, but you know what else doesn't help? Almost every time I've personally seen him in something, he's had that
Hold
face
on.
right there.
Hold on,
I've
hold
seen
on,
him in
hold
Kirby Enthusiasm, that face. I've seen him
Hold on.
in
Is this one?
like,
great, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Is this one Dylan? That what you're talking about right now? Like,
Yeah, Dylan.
Yeah,
Shut
Dylan.
up.
Yeah.
Not way too much. Let's back
Way
it up.
too much.
Leave him alone.
I mean,
He's not saying
I just
rugged
he's
is
very
bad.
talented. Yeah, I was about to say I didn't say anything bad. He's very talented. It's just
He just has to shave. I don't know what you
face.
what you
Right.
want out of him, honestly.
No, I don't know. It's because this is all I see. Even if he did shave, this is all I see. That's all I'm saying.
If they're going younger, like 30s, early 30s, Barry, I'd probably go with Jack of all the younger, early 30s.
The
How
fact
old
that
is
this man
Jack?
is older
Hold on,
than
how old
David
is
Corn
Jack?
Sweat is just
31.
They're all
31.
31 for some reason.
All the younger ones are 31, except for
Interesting.
the last one, which was like 20.
Yeah.
Age
Who
is
looks older
definitely
than
not
all of
the. If you disagree with either me or Brandon's picks, the one thing I can tell you, we did not miss on his age. Really, like we got age. We definitely got age down.
So I do like the older picks though for like Barry. Like Holbrook.
Jack Quaid got too many jobs already. He'll need them more. Okay.
Trevon be like
now-
low key. Trevon be like low key. We just need Dylan in the suit. Come on now. Like,
Dylan will get
Leave a
some.
He
little
has too
mustache.
many jobs.
That's what I said.
Man,
Oh,
So you gonna punch him
said
for
he played
being-
Superman? I didn't know what you meant. He's playing Superman in My Adventures with Superman.
Yes, too many
Yeah.
jobs.
Yes.
Ah.
Let Dylan have one.
Well, that might mess up James Gunn's whole got to be the same actor in animation and live.
There you
action.
go, Jamie.
I'm
Disqualified.
I'm not changing my
Dylan,
vote.
you
I'm
need
not
to
changing my
stay as
vote.
Dylan.
Disqualified. There you go.
I just say
That's a separate
Oh,
universe.
jeez.
To be fair.
Nope.
Yeah, we have to-
disqualified.
we have to make a
It's all
different decision
math.
though.
So we're going for Wally West now. Y'all ready? Okay,
my
I
help.
got three. I'm very pro.
You've got three.
Doing-
Juwan's got one. We've got 4 Wallies in total.
So I'll do mine first, and we'll do Juwan's last, like in the inverted version of what we did with Barry. You good with that, Juwan?
Yeah. Mhm.
Cool. So I got 3. I'm thinking early to mid 20s, and I picked characters. One is pure energy. The other 2 are I think are interesting choices because they can play. They're at that age where they can play older, or they can play a little bit younger, and then be the generational. Make the role their own and make it the generational Flash. I like the idea of going African American with the character because it worked with the introduction of Wallace West. But we can just get Wallace West out of the way and just do Wally West. So the first pick is Caleb McLaughlin from Stranger Things.
Okay.
I think he would work, especially because now at the age that he's in, he can play a little older, so you can be mid-20s, and then he can grow into the character, and he has a great chemistry in an ensemble. So if you get him with the right people, especially because remember, I was thinking of Wally West as having Jay Garrick around, having Max Mercury around, other characters like that around, being friends with Nightwing. He's one that would, I believe, screen test very well in that setting as Wally West. And you can do this suit that he has on there, and you can highlight different hairstyles
That was the rebirth. The
to look very dope. So, which again was another key thing, which is funny because the first suit to highlight the hair was Wallace West's suit, and then when Wally West came back to differentiate him which by the way, it's really weird because in the current Flash run, Wally West is the main Flash, and they took the top part away, and they gave him back the full
mask.
suit, which to me is stupid because that suit is just fire.
I could still tell the difference, by the way, but it's not. It's not
it's all
easy
about
for
the lightning.
everybody. It's the lightning
It's all
and the
about the
belt.
lightning.
The belt is
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
I
So
kinda
before I go to
wonder,
the next
like,
one, guys.
I want
If
Caleb
your
for
hair's-
static.
Oh,
Fair.
That's tough.
I'm also Caleb for static, by the way.
I know a logistical question. If your scalp is exposed to the Speed Force, aren't you just bald after that? Like,
They're all protected.
Well, technically,
how's his follicles
whoever's-
holding on?
technically, whenever you're running, the Speed Force creates like a barrier around you, so you're not affected with what's around you. Which is what also
It's the
explains how he
stupid
can
bubble we
carry
didn't
people.
like from the last movie.
No, that's a time bubble that was
Right.
trying to replace the cosmic treadmill,
Right.
which is bullshit.
No, but like when he was traveling through time, when he wasn't even traveling through time, sometimes the bubble would appear.
Oh, like, yeah, like
when he was
little,
running down
like-
the street, it was still
Like the Kamehameha that was like surrounding him. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in his
Yes.
own literally in his own little bubble.
Sorry to derail. Just question I had.
No, it's a valid question.
It is.
Okay. You wanted him for Static though, Mike. I can see that.
That shouldn't sway your vote, but I agree.
I like him for Static too. Now that I think about it, because Static is
Yeah.
legitimately a high schooler. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those
Oh.
things, Brandon, where the fan cast is so good. I want him in a different role. That's how badly I want this actor. But he would definitely kill it as Wally. Like, you know,
yes.
like there's nothing wrong.
See, it's
there.
funny though because this is not my
Yeah.
top pick for Wally though. This is not my top pick. It's what's a pick.
I'm curious.
Trayvon, what you got, bro? What you think?
Disclaimer.
You
I
got
don't
too
watch
many
Stranger-
jobs.
Disclaimer: I don't watch Stranger Things. I know nothing of this
Yeah.
of this guy.
Okay.
This guy.
Other Stranger Things boy. Yeah, so we could do. I felt like Static Shock would be better. I guess.
I guess we're not.
Yeah. I don't
Okay, I
know.
guess he's not Wally.
I don't know.
Caleb, you are designated Static Shock going forward.
Juwaan, is he Static Shock too?
I don't know. I have a million Static Shocks, but I can see Wally.
I just want one Static Shock. I hope I get one day. You know?
Okay, so let's go for the next
to the
one.
next pick.
So we're
Now
talking.
this one, I was looking for actors, and I don't know if he's been. Well, that's not my next one, but that's fine. You know what?
Yeah.
We can end with this one. We can end mine with this one. This is my top pick for Wally.
Doesn't
He
he
is
voice
the-
Miles in the game?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
him.
he does.
He looks different.
We both picked
Okay.
Miles
And he-
is to play Wally's. Just saying.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
But the thing with Najee Peter, he's also Sam in The Last of Us, by the way,
Oh shit.
from long ago.
Mm.
The
actor?
reason that I like Najee Peter is because one, I
In the
think
game.
he's 28
Yeah.
or 27 now.
That's what I meant.
I think. So he can play a little bit younger, but he can grow into the role. The acting chops that this guy displays in the motion capture and the voiceover of Miles Morales, and it's top tier. And it's funny that a lot of people can go like, okay, he's already Spider-Man here. How can you make him the Flash here? But I think he has the talent and the star power to make the Flash his own, to be the Flash of the DCU. And especially all these projects like Marvel Spider-Man, it's a huge ensemble project because there's a lot of different characters, a lot of different character interactions, moments, and all of that, right? I think he's perfect for the role, for the world that James Gunn is creating, and he is my top pick for Wally West.
I like it.
Okay.
Interesting.
I like it as well.
All right, I like it too.
Are the Avengers
So
coming?
did the Avengers. Yep.
I don't know what
Yeah,
just
we
happened.
support this.
They're trying to recruit him. You gotta be quick about it.
So yeah,
Yeah,
those are my picks.
But I like this pick. I like this one for sure. I just think it's hilarious that we.
You don't
both
want him for
chose
Static?
Miles Morales. No,
Yes.
I mean, he might be a little
I'm
too old for
open to that.
Static.
How old is he
Static.
now?
Caleb's a
I think
bit
he's
younger, so I
27,
think that
28.
works, but
He's 26.
He's 26. Oh,
Yeah.
that's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's about where I. Well,
oh,
maybe it's
good
a
to
little
know. I
bit
guess I could play Wally West.
Yeah. Yes, he can. Yes, he can.
Okay,
Juwaan,
I
what do you
had-
think?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, my bad. I don't really have anything against them. To me, I don't worry about can someone lead a movie if the script's good enough and the acting doesn't suck. Really, anyone can lead a movie. So I won't hold that against. I won't hold that against because if you had told me fucking what's his name, Chris Hemsworth was gonna be leading Thor before that movie, I would have said no fucking way. No way. I had no idea who the guy was. So yeah, that's no problem for me. I mean, he has the look, right? He has the look. You were saying the build and everything. So yeah, I mean, I think that
He was great in
Right.
Hall H. It was so much fun.
Was it?
So Brandon, we went a little out of order. Sorry about that. What was your next pick, your runner up, I guess, for Wally West?
Actually, I'm good with these two.
All right. Cancel.
All right.
I'm good with these
Fine
two.
by
Abort.
me.
Board.
Abort. Juwaan, explain your pick for Wally West.
my pick. I went super young. I went for somebody that had a comedic background, not like they're a comedian, but they've done a lot of comedic roles. And I was kind of looking at it from a sense of, I know everyone's used to the idea of Wally and Dick Grayson being around the same age. But I went the route of, what if Dick Grayson had to legit mentor a group of Teen Titans, and he's the leader, the de facto leader to lead the Teen Titans. So I went drastically younger. I went 16 years old. I went Jacob Tremblay. I went for somebody that I thought not only could lead a movie, as he's done, but legit could embody everything comedic you would want that character to be. And I think Jacob could definitely do it. I'm glad. I like that photo a lot. Makes him look a lot older than he actually is. I appreciate you, Mike. But,
This is him at the Little Mermaid premiere. This is like the
Good
most
man.
recent photo of him.
Good man. I appreciate you. I just really think he checks, for me, again, just for me, I think he checks off all the boxes. And like I said, I wanted to go a route of Dick Grayson because I was kind of going the idea of some of these characters have been around for a while, right? And obviously I'm going the route of Wally being the sidekick to Barry. I went with the idea of, like, we've had, it's been a while. Obviously the Justice League has started to form. And Batman entrusts Nightwing to be the guy to lead this new generation of obviously you're not going to put Damian in there like the animated movies did, but you entrust Dick Grayson to be the leader of the new generation of heroes. So I kind of just took it more as like legit mentor because he's a lot older than whatever the next generation is of sidekicks that are coming out. So like I said, I think Jacob could definitely embody the comedic aspects of it. I think he has the look for it. And that's why I picked Jacob Tremblay.
I don't
Thoughts,
know who
panel.
he is, so
You
I
don't know
can't.
Jacob
I
Tremblay?
can't talk about.
Oh
it. I
my
don't know who he is.
gosh.
You know who Najee P.
Wait, I didn't hear what you said. Would you say, Brandon?
No, I don't know who he is, so I can't.
You know who
I-
Jacob
I-
Tremblay is?
I don't think I do.
He played Luca and Luca.
He was the kid in
I
the
know,
room.
I-
In Room.
Maybe it was the-
Didn't
Did
see
you
either
see
one of
that?
those.
Fuck, I can't remember the comedy now. It was the comedy with the three.
He was
little
in Good
that
Boys.
come
He was
in
in
it.
Wonder.
Good Boys.
Good Boy.
Good Boys.
He's
Good
great in
Boys.
Good Boys.
Seen
Good Boys
neither-
is funny.
Seen neither one of those as well either. No.
You never
I've
seen
seen
Good Boys?
Luca.
Oh, you've never seen
Haven't
that?
How have you
seen any
not
of those.
seen Room?
Good Boys.
Brie Larson won an
fucking
Oscar for that.
hilarious.
I know.
That is
Did
true.
she fucking fly, Mike? That's why.
I know. Look, I know Brie from
Sorry,
Captain
good
Marvel.
point.
That's where I started with her. So, boom. I don't know.
So,
That's
but
fair.
here's the thing. So,
Yeah. Say it.
see, the only reason I
You're
wouldn't
thinking
go
it,
with
say
this
it.
pick. What? No, what? What's it? The only reason I wouldn't go with this pick is because I don't want Wally as a sidekick. I want him as a lead, and he's too young. That's just me. Nothing against the actor, just not the Wally that I would like to see.
Respect. Like I said, I
was-
wanted to go something different. I'm sorry.
Sorry, yeah. I was with this pick because Jacob Tremblay is a fantastic actor and he can really grow into this role and like make it his own and become that lead that Brandon wants. But you said something very specific, Juwaan, that lost me on this take, and that is Dick Grayson mentoring Wally West. Dick Grayson's got enough kids he's mentoring. He needs friends. He needs peers. Wally needs to be his best friend. He doesn't need to be a kid he's taking care of. You know?
I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I think if they handle Batman the way he should be handled, is the idea that, yes, is Nightwing legit the mentor to these kids because Batman ain't got the time? Yes. But I do think you should go the route of that is who they look to, is Batman. Nightwing just sometimes happens to be the mouthpiece because Bruce ain't got time for that shit, or he doesn't know how to deliver it. But to me, I just think of somebody that could kind of and here's the biggest thing. So let me ask you this, Mike. Let me ask you personally this. How old is your Dick Grayson?
Well, again, if we're going off of the context of the DCU of Damian already being Robin or becoming Robin, Dick has to be 20s, right? He has to be at least 20 years old, I would say. So he's probably
Wally West and Dick Grayson should be around the same age.
Only reason I'm asking is that looking at Jacob Tremblay right here, you telling me you couldn't pass off 18?
I'd card him.
I mean, I guess by the time we see Wally, he's probably going to be 18.
Bruh,
You would card him? What makes you think I would card him?
Jamie got no...
I used to work at a grocery store where I card people that look older than him, so I'd card him.
Right.
I'm just saying, if you're telling me that your Dick Grayson is what, 26, probably the highest, I'm saying I could pass this kid, who is, again, only 16. I could pass him as 18, 19 years old. That's all I'm saying.
I would
but
like
19 and 26 is very different age. It's a big age difference.
If you're dating, not if you're saying we're all superheroes and I'm a mentor to you.
It is very different.
Well, I don't understand how that's different. Here's the senior year in high school. The other one is already out of college.
I get you. I'm not saying have the weird guy that's just hanging around kids. I'm saying we're all heroes. I'm just the mentor of said young heroes.
Yeah,
I don't think that's weird at all.
No, but that's where we're disagreeing. Is that I don't think he needs to mentor Wally. They should be equals. He can mentor Damian. He can mentor Bart. He can mentor the next generation of sidekicks. That first generation needs to be around the same age. And I think Jacob can play a great Wally West, but if he's going to be Wally, Dick Grayson will have to be around his age, and that's just not possible in this universe, which sucks. But, that's just the reality of it, in my opinion.
True.
I don't know why I see him as like a dark sorcerer. Maybe it's this outfit.
It's all black.
Is there a dark sorcerer DC character?
There is one. He's annoying, and he has a cat.
Yeah, Clary.
And he hates Dr. Fate.
Oh,
Is that the guy from Young Justice?
I don't mind that.
Yes.
I might have saved him. He can still be a part.
I like that.
He was in Justice League too.
That's better.
Yeah.
He's actually an episode of Batman the Animated Series.
He's got to bring this outfit though.
He has to bring
He's gonna go back to being Flounder in the Little Mermaid too.
Costume people, something like this. Something like
that. Mr. Tremblay, if you don't bring this outfit, Jamie's gonna card you. Okay.
Even with the outfit, she was rather
like you're not old enough to be here, sir.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Guys, is there anything else? We've been here for 2 hours. Anything else on the Flash? Wally, Barry, reboots, not reboots. I think we said everything.
I like Stranger Things, boy.
I think I like Najee as Najee. I don't know. I'm
Najee Peter.
Of the three Wally options, I'll probably go Najee. Mainly because I also think that Jacob's just too young for my version of Wally in this possible universe. I agree. I'm more of a Dick and Wally as peers person, and I would love to see Barry and Hal be peers, and Juwaan would like to see Barry come first. It's the same dynamic for me. Like I would like to see Dick and Wally as their best friends, and I just want them to be best friends.
Actually, no, Najee would be better. Yeah, I like him better.
I just feel like he's just too young.
I think he's the Wally, bro.
Of the options here, yes.
The option's here.
Hey,
Hey, James
honestly-
Gunn, James Gunn is gonna find his
See?
option.
Being a judge isn't as easy as you thought, is it, Joel?
I made a good
Sometimes you gotta
decision.
break some hearts.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
you gotta card some people.
There you go.
Hey,
That's
Brandon
right.
had multiple options. All right, it was very a little different. I had one option. You put shit on all of them basically, except one.
No.
I'm so sorry.
You
So
too,
sorry.
yeah.
I went undefeated.
I tried. I
pretty much,
played that one card
great.
over and over again. He don't give a shit. He
did.
was like, "Fuck that
Yeah,
card."
it was a great try.
Obviously
awesome.
not good enough.
That's awesome.
Guys,
I think we're
it's
done
been
the thing,
great
guys.
talking the Flash. We did the thing.
I
just like
appreciate
Angela
y'all.
Bassett.
Yes.
I appreciate y'all tolerating my rants.
Well,
No,
That was
good.
passion. That was passion.
That's
Yeah.
all that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned something about
Good
Flash. I'm
rants.
like, you know what? Maybe I should look into him. I like it. I like the ideas.
This is what you need to do. This is the book.
Year one. Yeah. I
This is
do
the
like
book
that
you need
cast.
to read. So this book does a lot of great things. So it is actually smudged together. It's 6 issues, and they're part of the grander DC Rebirth art Joshua Williamson run, but it is separated. So you can just read it by itself. You don't have to read everything that comes before it. It literally retells the origin of the Flash with his original villain, the Turtle, and
Oh, wow. They went
The
turtle.
turtle.
and then just revamps it for a new audience. And it really established him as the hero. You see him learning about his powers, like all the dangers that he faces as he develops the suit step by step. It's a time travel story where he learns from mistakes. It's not Flashpoint, but it's like the way that Joshua Williamson pieces all those things from the original origin and revamps them for a new audience. It's just phenomenal. And I don't know, it's one of the best stories I've personally, if I could ever pick a script for a Flash movie, I would just go by that book 100%. It is a phenomenal, great way to introduce anyone to the character.
Okay.
Word.
So I think you can read it as part of Comixology, or you can pick up the digital version for like $7. I bought a hardcover because again, gotta have my best. But yeah, but you can. But it's you can get it
Refresh
for a
the
good
page.
price.
The book's already in the description.
Yeah, I know how to get to it. I mean, if I really want to read it, I'll get it.
It is a great read. It is a great read, and you get introduced to a little bit of some of the rogues. It's right now at $5 on Kindle,
Wow.
Oh.
so you can pick it up for $5.
Okay.
Fast. Man.
Oh,
I
cool.
got some.
So must read.
It reads for $5.
$5 pesos.
All right.
There you go.
Perfect.
All right.
Guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give us a like and subscribe so you don't miss a thing. We're going to be back here on Monday talking Secret Invasion. I know this panel has some thoughts. I have none. It'll be interesting to see how this goes.
Can't wait.
It's going to be great. Juwaan, thank you for joining us, dude. Coming out of retirement for a day. Where can the folks find you?
That's awesome, dude.
Back in retirement.
In the retirement home. In your nearest
In the
retirement
Speed
home.
Force.
There you go.
We're gonna
Never to
we're
return.
gonna shelf you like Barry Allen and just pull you out when we need you.
Damn.
There you go.
Mm.
That's how it goes.
Okay. Everybody else's handles are either on the screen or in the description. You guys know where to find us. We'll be back here Monday talking Marvel after 9 straight days of DC content. That wasn't on purpose. It just kind of turned out that way, but you guys have been loving it. So thank you so much for supporting us. Until next time, keep watching movies. Peace.
Peace.
Always